Hey pilots, I'm Major Payne and this is another episode of How to Play, and today Mig-15bis, one of my favorite light fighters at tier 10. What you see here is my paint skin for this plane. Actually I have 4 different paint skin, Polish, silver and white superb crew paint skin. You could see it in the intro of this video. I also have the Chinese version, and this one is red. From Red Falcon in Soviet Union. There was acrobatic team which was using Mig-15 for aerobatic shows. Now let's start with the parameters, and then I go through some tactics and options to dogfight other fighters, which will be primarily objective for this plane, but there are also other jobs like going after heavy fighters, in some cases attacking bombers also. And after that I'm gonna show you my equipment, setup and pilot skills. Right, let's get into it. Now, we start with guns. So, we have one powerful 37mm cannon and two 23mm cannons. Cumulative damage is 660, and the main difference between those two cannons is range of fire. So, 37mm cannon have range only 640 meters, and two 23mm cannons have range 800 meters. Other than that, of course, damage output is different, rate of fire is different, but out aim angle 3 degrees, it's same for both of these cannons. Dispersion 0.5 degrees, also the same, and overheat time is also same, 3 seconds for each of these cannons. But cooldown time is different, so 23mm cannon are cooling down much faster than 37mm. So that means when you overheat your cannons and then you let go the trigger for 1 second, let's say, and you start firing again, then your 37mm cannon will overheat much quicker because it didn't have time to cool down the same way as 23mm cannons. So during the combat it may look like you're overheating your 37mm cannon faster than two 23mm cannons. Anyway, most of the time range of fire will be a little bit of annoying for these two different weapon systems. Now you could separate weapons group, assign two 23mm cannons to separate button on your mouse. So basically you can fire your two 23mm cannons separately from the 37mm cannon. It's just gonna be a little bit of help, only useful maybe when you're going after someone and he's out of range of your 37mm cannon, then you can switch to two 23mm cannons only, and when he gets into the range of 37 again, then you can use your 37mm cannon, which is not overheated, fresh to use, so maybe something like that could be useful. I'm using that myself, but rarely. So let's go to survivability now. And we have 500 HP pull, resistant to damage 48, resistant to fire 40. Basically planes like Yak-30 or Mi-1101 or Japanese light fighters, they will have 450 HP, but others like Swift have 500 HP pull, LA-15 have 500 HP pull, and F-86 have 600. But he has also extra equipment slots, so basically he can have almost 700 HP pull, not to mention this German light fighter FW252, which can have 800 HP or maybe even more. So remember about when you go and head on with those planes, you have to be aware that you have very good firepower, one of the best. Just two German light fighters have a little bit better firepower, but you also have to remember that only two 23mm cannons have 800 meters range. So if you're gonna go head on with Swift, which have two 30mm cannons which have 800 meters, that will give him some advantage before your 37mm cannon will be in range. Now let's move to speed, and we have engine VK1 producing 2700 kg of thrust. It's one of the best between the light fighters at tier 10, just FW252 have more powerful engine. So we have cruise speed 600 km per hour, boost speed 1020 km per hour, 8 seconds of boost duration, and maximum dive speed 1100 km per hour. As you see on the example, with this one boost we are reaching over 1020 km per hour. It's fully calibrated gas turbine here on that plane and pilot with Engine Guru 1, but basically Mig-15 is extremely fast and have excellent acceleration. Now when I take F-86, in my opinion main opponent in a game for Mig-15, mainly because of the maneuverability, which F-86 have better, and other parameters are very comparable, but not maneuverability. So we have almost the same boost speed, 1000 km/h on F-86, the same boost duration, and exactly the same dive speed, which is the maximum speed of both of this plane, 1100 km/h. You see the test here with the same equipment on a plane and the same pilot on the plane, the same skills. You can clearly see the difference. F-86 have weaker engine, only 2200 kg of thrust, so he doesn't go as fast as MiG, only up to 960 km/h on one boost. So theoretically, speed should be our advantage against F-86, because with enough acceleration and speed we should be able to separate and use our superior firepower to come back and do head-on attack again, in which F-86 is in disadvantage because he has less firepower. But it's only the theory, because in a game we have consumables like this one, extra engine cooling, which give you extra 10 seconds of boost. This is extra 10 seconds allowed F-86 to reach his maximum speed, 1100 km/h, which is the same as Mig-15, and so we will be unable to separate. And so we are left with no options. We only can go head-on and use our firepower and try to go into two-circle fight after first engagement, which usually give us another chance to go head-on one more time, but that would be it. So if you don't know much about two-circle fight, I have a training video about that. The link is now on a screen, so you can guys look it up and see the difference. What's the difference between radius fighter and turn rate fighter. Link should be now on the screen. Now let's talk about maneuverability then. We have average turn time 10.8 seconds, rate of roll 130 degrees per second, minimum optimum speed 420 km/h, maximum optimum speed 900 km/h, and stall speed 180 km/h. So 10.8 second average turn time is theoretically it's the same maneuverability as Me-1101, German Messerschmitt, and British Swift. But it's again only a theory, because those two planes, Me-1101 and Swift, they can use special pilot, which they give them extra maneuverability. Those special pilots are available sometimes in a premium store, another time you can gain them in some missions for free, but they're over there, and Mig-15 doesn't have that luxury, because there is no special pilot which give extra maneuverability for Mig-15. So basically, thanks to them, they have a little bit of upper hands, but what we have is aerodynamic brakes here, which non-Messerschmitt or Swift, they don't have that. So basically, when we use our brakes, we're slowing down faster, and we make a smaller radius. That gives us upper hand when we're coming back to head-on. So we're coming back to head-on engagement faster, and because of that we have narrow advantage where we can use this split second and fire on enemy which is unable to fire at us, because he doesn't have us in his crosshair. So first you're trying to avoid head-on because Messerschmitt have better firepower, and then you get into turn. I'm using my aerodynamic brakes to slow down, to make a smaller circle, and I get back to him first, yeah? But I missed it, so I messed up. Now, you see, at this point, I'm higher, he's going down, so basically gravity helps me to get back to him again faster. And there you go, again faster, I'm start firing at him, but he also managed to fire at me, so he hurt me well, but I hurt him a little bit more. And there you go, last turn, you see? That's the advantage I'm talking about. It's just split second. I can fire at him now, but he cannot fire yet on me, but he's just about to fire me, yeah? So you see, I finish off him. He didn't manage to finish off me on time because I start firing first, because I get back to head-on first. Overall, it's quite difficult tactic. It's very easy to make mistake here, and outcome is very often uncertain, but still it's much better than engaging F-86, yeah? Which I would say, like, if you two equal good pilots engage each other, then F-86 will win 9 times out of 10, I would say. And so we can move into altitude performance now. Mig-15 have great altitude performance, one of the best between all the light fighters at tier 10, the only matchup for Mig-15 is again F-86, nemesis of this plane. So what we have here is optimum altitude 2800 meters, service ceiling 5000 meters, and rate of climb 188 meters per second, which is excellent. So this high altitude can be used against all fighters which are more maneuverable. Fighters like LA-15, Yak-30, Ki-162, all those more maneuverable light fighters, they do not have such a good altitude performance, so we can use that against them by implementing vertical fight. And this has worked quite well, so after each attack I'm climbing and gaining some altitude, and I have better control and initiative because I decide when I get back and attack again, and those fighters can't even reach me at this altitude. Yeah. I mean, they could try go after me, so we can drag them up, but then they became very easy target if they go after us and lose all the energy. Now that's another example. LA-15, very good plane, I like it, but it's also limited. His optimum altitude is 2000 meters, which is not bad for such a maneuverable fighter, but it's not a comparable to a Mig-15, which is much faster and much better. And there we go, we're coming back. We have superior firepower, so, and he trying to avoid that, but he's in low energy state now, an easy target. And so that's how this is work, more known as a boom and zoom tactic than vertical fight. Now another example here is J7 multi-Eurofighter, which have more firepower, so we avoid him and we're trying to drag him up so he loses his energy. And as soon as he's trying to disengage, which is now, you see we coming back and we have upper hands, we gonna dive attacking him, yeah. And there you go. So he's in low energy state, easy target. Okay, now it's time to go through equipment, consumables and pilot skills, because there's a strong correlation between tactics and equipment I'm using on this plane. And so on first slot I'm using G-suit with extra bonus characteristic for maneuverability and accuracy when firing at moving targets. If you want to know more about G-suit, how it works, I have a video which explains that. Well, the link should be now on the screen, so you can look it up. And now second slot I have lightweight wing for maneuverability, and this is experimental one. And on engine I have gas turbine, it's must have because we need acceleration and top speed, and second slot on engine is for lightweight power unit, and this one is a special project. Oh, by the way, there's also a video which explains in details how what's the difference between this equipment's experimental one, special project and regular equipment. So if you want to look it up and find out more, the link is now on screen. And I think most important is on guns. My equipment is bolt carriers, and these are experimental, so I can have bonus characteristic from it, extra 10% of rate of fire, which is very good. So basically bolt carriers, they give me much more time of firing, so my overheat time is much extended, so I can use my firepower for much longer. It's very useful when we're going after heavy fighters which have a lot of HP, or even bombers, bots, or any plane which have actually a lot of HP. And so we can move now to consumables, so this is also very important. On first slot I have first aid, very standard. Then I have pneumatic control assistance, it's useful in a dogfight, extra maneuverability for 10 seconds. And on engine I have something which actually everyone should have, I would say, because and extra engine cooling, as I mentioned earlier, that give a lot of advantage. It's extra 10 seconds of boost, so basically this is must have. You need to have this, and engine restarts also actually is must have, I would say, because if you are trying to dodge enemy heavy fighter and he gonna hit you in the engine, you are not able to go after him. The same with light fighters, if they hit you in the engine, you're not able to disengage and get back to head on, which I mentioned earlier, yeah. And what you see here is a great example how I used my extra engine cooling to get this XF90. Without this I wouldn't be able to catch up with him, of course, obviously. And now engine is damaged, I repair and I get back to the game much quicker. I don't have to wait for my engine to restart itself, yeah. So it's very useful. Now, as for ammunition, I'm using a universal one, but if you have too much of this fragmentation, that's also a good choice if you have that too much. Anyway, now let's move to pilot skills, and I'm using very standard one, aerobatic expert and aerodynamic expert, and because I don't have a gyroscopic sight, I'm using marksman 1 and 2 to improve my accuracy, and with 2 left points I choose engine guru 1, but if I get another point I will reset that and I take resilience. For light fighters I would say must have. And if somehow I get into 15 points pilot, so that would be like extra 3 points. I mean, for now I have 11 points, and when I get 12 I get this resilience, but then when I get 15, which I don't see happen, but anyway, let's assume that you guys have 15, then those last 3 I would use for a skill which is called Raptor Strike, and I think that could be useful on Mig-15. That give you extra 50% chance of causing fire and critical damage when you are diving on enemy and you are close to maximum speed and high angle 45 degrees in a dive, so that should work for Mig-15 quite often. So I mentioned also this correlation between my bolt carriers and tactics I'm using. So this is example where I'm flying to help my team to take over this mining plant here. Yeah, these are bot bombers, not human ones, so they are much easier target, but because of those bolt carriers I actually can deal with them quite quickly, because if I would use gas operation actions here to increase the firepower, just rate of fire, yeah, but I will be overheating my gun so quickly that I'm not gonna be able to deal with this full of HP bombers in this case, yeah. And that's also work when we go on after heavy fighter, and this is the part of the tactic I want to mention, that this is, if you see that human players in a heavy fighter, that's your main target if you're flying Mig-15, because you have capabilities to go after him and stop him from taking out, for example, your bombers, yeah. So this is partially your job to counter this heavy fighter. Of course, it all depends on team composition and map, but in general we can go after those heavy targets with these bolt carriers and deal with them, and quite often we can have very good results in the battles, specifically when there's less players in a game, because if it's like 8 players against 8 players, it's gonna be difficult, because you're gonna run into some good light fighters which can counter you as well very well. But if you don't, and it's like in this case only 2 against 2, then you can deal with this threat easily and have upper hands, like, you know, and have very good results. To sum up, Mig-15 is still very good, have big impact on the game because of its firepower and consistency if you have this equipment set up, but it's not as good as it used to be, because those other light fighters get those special pilots which give them extra maneuverability that can also affect in some games your performance. Yeah, so that will be it in this video, guys. I hope you like it, found it useful. If so, please leave a like and subscribe for future content. And I hope this video will help you to set up your Mig-15 to be much more effective. I try to cover other light fighters soon, so you can expect next video in next week. And guys, have a good hunting, good luck with your battles, and see you soon.
Oh, he came over to headhunt me and lost again. He's such a silly little boy, isn't he?
And his name is John C.